This is Homekeepers. So glad to be here. So glad you're there. And I welcome one and all. If you've been around a while, we love you. If you're brand new, we love you too. Hope you'll join us on a regular basis. And we really do try to cover anything and everything that affects the family. And I've said many times that is anything and everything. And maybe nothing more so than the education of our children and grandchildren. We should be very, very concerned about that. And because we are here at Homekeepers, I have a gal come on every month. Her name is Heide Janshon. If you're a regular viewer, you have seen her. She's a mother and became very alarmed at some of the homework that her young son was bringing home, I believe at the age of 10. And she's one of those rare ones that got busy to try to do something about that, and I hope that we can stimulate a lot of you to think like that. I am just loaded. I just brought down just a part of a file that I have, books on Common Core. Glenn Beck wrote one. This is one's called A Trojan Horse for Education Reform. And before I move on, I just want to read you something, because there's something in the newspaper almost every day about what's going on in our public school system in America. And if you follow the money, it kind of goes back to what that's all about. Okay, this is something that's going to happen here in my area, in Pinellas County. In one ninth grade classroom, a social studies teacher and a language arts teacher get students to check their shirt tags, okay, so that they can see where their clothing was made, which leads to a discussion about global connections. And down the hall, 7th graders sign contracts delegating their roles in a group project for an elective class called Exploring Hospitality and Tourism Careers. This is what your kids are getting in public school today, and we're trying to sound the alarm, because we are still, we the people can do something about it in this country. That's why we are trying to sound the alarm. And if you haven't met Heidi, I'm really anxious for you to meet her a little bit later. I'm going to join Stephanie, and I'm excited about this recipe, creamy white chili. You know, in the fall, chili is such a popular dinner, and boy, it's not expensive either. You can have it for your main entree, really, when the husband and the kids come home in the evening. Before I join her, let me remind you that we are viewer supported. Please know that the things we're bringing to you are so important. We recently did a program on a mother that really knew how to pray. In fact, she was the kind of inspiration for the war room. That is so important. Today we're talking about education. We're doing the best we can. And any gift you send, large or small, it's appreciated. We really love you for it. So there's a couple ways you can give. You can use the 800 number, 1-800-229-0059, and that's coming up on your screen. And also you can write to me at Homekeepers, Box 6922, Clearwater, Florida, 33758, and we will be glad to receive your gift. Boy, will we be glad to receive your gift. And thank you for it. I really feel that this is an important program from the bottom of my heart, and so I hope that you'll join me in this concern. And I've joined Stephanie over here. I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, I think this one might be good.
We started out with white chicken breasts. You just cut them up real small.
White chicken? Was there other?
Oh yeah, there's dark chicken.
Breasts?
The legs. No, I just said, I didn't say breast.
You're confusing me, I'm sorry.
Yeah. These actually were the chicken tenders.
Okay.
If you want to, you know.
They're white.
Not get the great big one. They're white.
Yeah.
And maybe her chickens don't have dark legs and that kind of thing.
I don't know.
Which is really.
Okay, anyway, and onions and some garlic powder.
I imagine our viewers can smell it.
Oh, I could smell it when I was coming down the stairs. It smelled so good. So I have this all sauteed up. The chicken is no longer pink. You want to make sure it's done. So we're going to throw in some northern beans that came out of the can, or of course you could take northern beans and soak them overnight.
And I'd like to suggest to people who really, you know, you have kind of a tight budget, beans are such a good source.
Yes,
I love them.
Such a good source.
A good source of
chicken
protein.
Broth. And then we have cumin.
Now, you were telling me
Pepper.
that you've got a bed at home that's full of Christmas gifts?
Yes, I've started getting all of my Christmas gifts out of the gift closet so I can start getting all of my stuff together and get it going so I can beat you by Thanksgiving.
And
As we said, by Thanksgiving, we're going to be all done.
we
And
gotta
this
be all
is
done.
salt and pepper.
Now,
And these are chilies out of the can,
Yeah.
which you didn't want to use a whole bunch of them.
no, I
I'm
cut
like,
it
is this
back
all we
a little
have?
bit. A little too hot for me. But there's some more interesting
They're
stuff that goes
tastier.
in this, yeah.
Yeah, so you and I said we're going to be done Christmas shopping, wrapping, everything
By
by Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving,
So we
okay.
can. So I'm getting a jump on it. I'm getting organized and getting there. So I just need a minute for this.
Yeah,
to
let's
heat
let
up.
this, let's let this just
So
hang
where
out a
are
little.
you on your Christmas shopping? I know you've done some.
Yeah, I have. I got more than you, I'll bet. I've got 8 great-grandchildren.
Oh, you have. Oh, yeah, you have way more than me.
I think
just
I
have 4
counted, I've got
grandchildren.
20 close.
Wow.
And of course, I need to buy you a gift. So that's 21.
I'm not going to argue with
Uh-huh.
that statement.
So, but I noticed some of the remarks we get from the viewers, they appreciate these little nudges, you know, help them a lot.
Some of them appreciate it. Some of them not so much.
Some of them, they
Some
feel
are like,
guilty.
Stop it, you're killing me.
Yeah,
I'm like,
guilty.
I'm just trying to help you. It comes every year, same time. So those people who are out shopping on Christmas Eve and complaining about it, it's your own fault.
Yeah. And I read an article that it's better to do it now because the prices inch up.
Right, now here's my thing for next year. Okay, you ready?
Next
My
year?
Thing, yes, because I'm already mentally planning. Next year, all my gifts are going to be from small businesses. I'm not going to buy from any corporate. It's going to be all small mom and pop shops.
American.
Yeah, so that's my goal for next year. No big shopping, all small shops, local shops, moms who are online. That's my goal for next year.
Okay, I want you to really keep us informed on that because.
Well, there's a page on Facebook. It's Made by Mama. It's all moms that make stuff from home, or have little shops or something like that, and you can get really personalized gifts that way. And that's what I love. I'd much rather.
Well,
give
you're
you a
starting to smoke
personalized
those
gift.
out anyway with some of the you've discovered and brought them on the show.
Yeah, just like what we've had. It's things like that. I want to do personal. I don't want to do just,
I think that's
things that don't matter.
that's a great idea.
So next year, that's my goal, because I've already bought gift cards and everything for this year. Okay, so it should cook longer. We all know that.
Do you do a lot of gift cards?
Well, I buy a gift card almost every paycheck. And it doesn't have to be a gift card for a gift.
Well, no
It could
wonder
be a-
you're ahead. No
Yeah,
wonder.
it can be a gift card for a store that I know I'm going to shop at. So then I have a whole bunch of
so you take it so you can shop.
Yes,
You
so
don't
I
just
have,
hand them
I
out.
have no. I have a handful of Toys R Us gift cards because I know that I'm going to be shopping for my grandsons.
Well, I a few years ago.
That was whipping cream,
Yeah.
and this is
Sour cream. A few years ago, it's been a little while, when my grandkids were a little younger, didn't have a bunch of great-grandkids then. And so I met them at Disney, and this was before the prices went up at Disney, which is outrageous.
Yes.
Shame on you.
Shame, shame.
And so I bought the tickets. I said, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry
Perfect,
Christmas.
see?
Oh, man, you talk about easy shopping.
Yeah.
And they loved it.
Yeah, and they have a very merry Disney Christmas party that they have sometimes. Well, they have it every year, but we bought tickets for that one year for the grandkids. So, yeah, super easy.
Now, what is this stuff?
That was just showing what I put
Oh,
in. I
okay.
talked about it. Yeah, ground cumin.
All right.
Okay, this should cook way longer, people. Way longer. We're speed cooking.
But it's called creamy white chili, and it looks creamy white.
So we'll just give you a taste.
All right.
There you go. It smells really, really
Gonna
good.
let it cool off a little bit.
Yeah. Don't burn yourself. That's just good television.
Oh,
Is that
I
good?
love that.
Yeah.
All that
Okay, I'll try it.
cream. The sour cream and the whipping cream. Oops. It didn't fall out
Oops.
of my mouth.
Okay, good.
That is. That's one of the best things we've
Okay.
ever made.
That's delicious.
Let's congratulate us.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Did I hit you too hard? Sorry about that. Oh my goodness, friends. You've got
One
to.
of these days.
And the recipes are free.
Free.
You email me, we'll email it right back. Or write to me, and you know, if you don't have a computer, we'll get it to you. Oh, that is good. I'm thrilled with that.
That's good.
So you can have this, and if you haven't met Heidi, I want you to. She's very well informed. This is an important program, so stay tuned.
If you would like a copy of today's recipe, just write to the address on your screen, or you can email your request to arthelene@rippy.org.
If you haven't met her, welcome Heide Janshon, mother, Mary Kay girl, and really a doer. The Bible says to not be hearers of the word only, but doers. I want you to recap your story because we always have new viewers. But before we do, what did you think about that gobbledygook I read at the top of the program? That's education, to look at the tag on your shirt.
I'm trying to figure out what their point was. Their point was, and I said this to you before, is that the children should have said, where are the products that are made in the United States? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And did I read the part, 3.4 million is coming from the Gates Foundation. So there's the bottom line. And I don't know who invented the term follow the money, but they were right on.
You said Pinellas County.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's where I live. Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, my story started 2 years ago. I can't believe that we've been on this quest for 2 years, but I do think that we have made some progress. We certainly have shaken up our school boards and our superintendents, and our legislature still needs a lot of
And they're blocking everything.
Yeah, they're just...
Where'd they get that power over education, the legislature?
We relinquished it. The people put them there. Do you know that most of those legislators that are in office now in the state of Florida, they ran uncontested? Quite a few of them.
Yeah.
We let it happen. It's apathy.
You're right, you're right.
It's
People
apathy.
not informed, and if they are, they don't act. But go back to your personal story. Okay. Your boy was 10 years old, right?
Yeah.
And he brought home a math assignment. Let me just preface by this. She's got a higher IQ than normal, and so did your son, right?
He is very bright. He's gifted. In fact, now he's in 6th grade, and he's taking Algebra 1, which is a 9th grade.
Indeed it is. I took it in 10th, and I still don't remember it.
And he's got a 92, so he's doing really well. I'm very proud of him. So what happened was 2 years ago is he brought home his math, and he was sitting there staring at it. He was in 4th grade, and I really did like his teachers very much. I thought they were fabulous, but he was staring at it, and I said, Titus, what's going on? He said, I don't understand this. And I said, you don't understand math? You're brilliant in math. What is going on? Let me see this. And I said, well, here, this is how I use it. No, I can't.
Now, was this subtraction or multiplication or what?
It was multiplication. Multiplication. So a simple formula, simple algorithm. It was like 24 times 52 or something like that. And I said, well, let me show you how I did it. And he just went, he said, no, I cannot do the way you did it. They told us not to listen to our parents. Because they are teaching.
Yes. Red flag.
I know it. I'm like, who's the boss? I'm the boss. And so we have that talk often. Who's the boss of you? You are, Mommy. Okay. If your teacher tells you to do anything contrary to what I have told you to do, you say, no, my mommy's the boss of me. And do not withhold information from me that's given in the classroom.
There's some good information for all you good moms and dads out there.
That's right.
Don't relinquish.
No. So Titus said, we are learning strategies. And I said, what do you mean about strategies? And he said, they have different ways of figuring this out. And I said, okay, so where is that information so that you can do well at home? And that just started my inquisition. What is this? Oh, it's Common Core. And that coincided with a letter that we got home from the district saying you should expect that your children are going to test lower this year than this time last year because we've implemented the Common Core state standards. And I was like, I'm sorry, but if you help a child, they should be able to comprehend and achieve just like they did before. So I was asking for where are the parent resources to help them at home? And then I've just, one thing led to another, asked lots of questions. It was just like this can that just opened up and all these little snakes came out. And our school principal went, whoa, she's asking too many questions, and she actually instructed the teaching staff to not answer any of my questions about Common Core or to defend it.
I'm telling you, friends, that ought to give you chills. That a parent cannot ask a teacher some questions. And they're purposely keeping the parents out. And let's go back another review. Whoever started this, and their names escape me at the moment, but I know you know
Coleman.
Not educators.
No.
None of them were educators. And decided, so I think it's evil, personally, trying to separate children from parents, but also somewhere in it, somebody's going to make a whole lot of money. Do you believe that's the bottom line?
Oh, it's all about money. I mean, honestly, Arthelene, when you look at the money that Bill Gates and his foundation threw at the federal government to say, here you go, take this and underwrite the Common Core state standards, offer every state billions of dollars so that they will accept a nationally created set of standards. We will lock them in, and we are going to pretend like they're actually applying for this grant money to make it seem as though we didn't mandate it. So they went through the process. Every state applied for the Race to the Top grant money, and in all of that, it said, when you accept this money, you also accept a nationally created set of standards. Mind you, there was no ink on the paper yet. They
that's right.
accepted them sight unseen. And to this day, and that was 2009, to this day, there is no national committee to review those standards. There's no oversight committee that says, hey, let's take a look at these Common Core state standards and see if they're actually working. Maybe we need to change some things up. Maybe they're not developmentally and cognitively age appropriate for our youngest learners. Kindergartners expected to read and write when they step in the door and reason like adults.
I've got an article about that. Schools, talk to the folks while I find
Okay, so let me tell you where we are now.
Oh, here it is.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Oh, State halts K2 school test.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, at least they halted.
Yeah, they were going to, and she's talking about testing kindergarten.
Oh, yeah.
Kindergarten. And so, see, they tell you their grades are going to be lower before they made the test, right?
Yeah.
Before there was any test that was printed out for parents or teachers to look at.
So in the state of Florida, we had the FCAT, which coincided with the Next Generation Sunshine State Standards. Those were standards that our state created, and they were good, solid standards. There was nothing wrong with them. But then when they accepted Common Core, they threw those aside and said, okay, so now we have these new standards. Well, now we have to have a standardized assessment that goes along with these Common Core state standards. It's got to be Common Core aligned. So a year ago, May, in 2014, our Commissioner of Education, Pam Stewart, made the executive decision to put into place and to contract with American Institutes for Research, a behavioral science company, to create the Florida Standards Assessment. It is a disaster. It was an impending disaster. It was doomed from the beginning, really honestly. The time frame in which they created it was so short, and they forced all of Florida children to take it in April, March and April. And the scores, like what month are we in? We're in October. The school year has already begun. We're 2-3 months into the school year. The scores were, the preliminary scores were just released, just now. Because Pam Stewart tried to cut some corners, didn't meet all of the contractual items and deliverables within the contract with American Institutes of Research. They didn't meet their side of it, and they just rolled it out. They basically flew an airplane while it was still under construction. And who's to suffer? Our children. So let me tell you this, I'm angry today. I'm angry at parents who sit apathetically and say, oh, that doesn't really apply to me. My kids are doing okay in school. And I'm saying, you have a 5th grader and you think it's reasonable that you will allow that child to be tested for 9.5 hours on a standardized assessment that has absolutely 0 academic value for that child. It is only in place, the Florida Standards Assessment is only in place to evaluate teachers and to give the school a grade. It has nothing to do with your child.
And that determines the money,
Yes.
the evaluations.
Oh, it's $30 a child. $30 a child that they're getting, plus all of the curriculum that goes along with it. Now in Pasco County, they have put into place quarterly assessments because they want to ensure that the students do really well on the FSA. On an FSA that our Florida Association of District Superintendents, all of the superintendents in the state of Florida said, Florida district school superintendents have lost confidence in the current accountability system for the students of the state of Florida. This was dated September 25th. The Florida School Board Association followed suit and said, we have also lost faith in that. Here's the other.
Nothing can be done.
No, it's in the legislature. The people need to rise up. You cannot turn a blind eye. If you have a child in school, if you have a grandchild in school, if you are a constituent and just a concerned citizen, I'm telling you, rise up now, call your legislators and say, do away with the FSA. Do away with the FSA.
And of course, we live in Florida, and that's one we talk about, but this is really going on across the nation.
It is.
I've learned too that there was such an outcry on Common Core, they kind of changed the name. They would individualize it for the state, but they didn't really change much, just had a different name.
No, because the Common Core state standards are copyrighted. Do you know that I had a meeting last night, we call them opt-out meetings, because we're teaching parents how they can have their children sit for the exam but answer no questions and get a no score. No score. It doesn't affect them. It's as though they walked into the room, threw up on their test, it was invalidated, and oh well, there's no score. So
what's the ultimate harm, if any, for them? Because that was one of my questions. I know that you've opted, your kids have opted out of the test.
correct.
And have they suffered any consequence from that?
Zero. There are teachers that are told, oh, the children have to take the FSA because their placement will depend on it. Well, let me tell you, placement depends on teacher recommendation. Both of our children are gifted. So our daughter was in 3rd grade, and 3rd grade is a key year because if they fail the FSA, they could be held back, retained, or put in remedial reading. So I said, she's not taking it. And I want her to take the SAT 10, which is a nationally normed test. She took it on a Monday. She got the grade back on Thursday. She got an 84, is fine.
And that's all you had to do, not this test, but this test?
Yeah, that was all I did. She went in, she broke the seal on the test. That's what you do to opt out on the paper-based test. And then just push it aside and say, no, thank you, I'm not answering any questions. And then I went to pick them up so they didn't have to sit there for 90 minutes.
Did any other children do that?
No.
Wow.
Not in our school.
I can't just
let
them know how serious this is.
I have friends who watch me. They watch me. It's like, oh, there she goes. She's going to opt out her children. And I'm like, where are you to opt out your children? You're letting them take an exam that has no value, nothing.
Well, another little part of this is that from kindergarten to infinity, they're tracking your children and your family, basically.
The data. That was why they forced the state of Florida to take that exam. Our legislature will never be without the data. They will tell you there's power in data, there's money in data. They can make it say anything they want.
Well, they can also almost engineer your child into something they don't want to do. They'll say, this is all you're qualified to do, so this is what you do.
Well, we didn't even talk about the cut scores. People go, what are cut scores?
Yeah, what's that?
I mean, I'm a purist. If I take an exam that has 100 test questions and I have an answer key to those 100 test questions, I want to know, out of the 100, how many did I get correct? And then that's my answer. No, that's not what they do. They take them and they manipulate the data to make it like, well, this is sort of like 50%, and this is like maybe this and this and that. And then they'll come out, and Pam Stewart, our Commissioner of Education, came out with her preliminary cut scores that said 50% across the board in our state failed the FSA. in March and April, and it has not changed.
No way.
Since the inception of the FCAT, they have manipulated the data to make it say whatever they want.
No absolutes.
No absolutes. Nobody will ever know. And
So
then
2 and 2 do not necessarily
No.
make 4.
no.
I'm telling you, friends, you need to get educated. You need to learn. You need to ask your children. We're getting close to being out of time, and this is such a big subject. You need to check what they're bringing home. You need to ask questions, which I don't think my parents ever did. You know, we come home with our little homework and all that. But it's different now. And another thing, I've got. I showed this to a colleague, and she could not believe the way Islam is being taught in many schools across the country. That's why you need to know. You need to look at their papers. You need to ask them questions where they have to learn the 5 pillars of Islam, but you could never mention the 10 commandments.
Right.
And back to the top of the program, it's we the people. You are an example of we the people.
And I go.
It's not that hard.
No, and I go to the top. I actually contacted our Board of Education on the state level, and one of them, Andy Tuck, actually messaged me back, and he said, "Here's my cell phone. Give me a call." And I had a half-hour conversation.
Oh, didn't you talk to one of the senators or?
I've met with John Legg. I've met with our superintendent. I've met with our school board, and then I had a conversation with our school board chairman last week as well. He said, "Come and give me a call. I'm interested to talk to you about some of this. We're on the same page." And I said, "Oh, hallelujah."
Our most important, valuable treasure is our children. And to think that it's money, look, we went to the moon from public education in America. God has blessed this nation. I mean, we used to read the scripture in school, and there used to be a prayer. And to think that they could throw money at this, which is what they're doing, and making it so much worse. I just want to urge you to get involved. Grandmothers, there's a lot of grandmothers raising their grandkids now. Take a look at their papers, ask them questions, and don't be intimidated by a school teacher or a school representative. You have the right, and I commend Heidi. I think God brought her to Homekeepers, because I know that a lot of you are paying attention since we've put a spotlight on this, and we will continue to do so. She'll be back in another month, and I'll keep loading up my file, and we'll bring the information to you. But until then, please remember, there's absolutely no more important calling than that of a homekeeper. God bless you.
If you should miss a Homekeepers program, you can catch up by going to www.ctnonline.com. Click on CTN Programs and then on Homekeepers.